Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the What a Deck profile for the Anti-Meta Qliphorts deck. I'm just going to go through everything that's in here, then I'll explain its role in the deck. So we've got 3 Monolith, 1 Scout, 1 SkyBase, 2 Stealth, 3 Shell, 3 Disc, 3 Majesty's Fiend, 3 Helix, 1 Raigeki, 3 Pantheism, 3 Tenacity, 3 Summoner's Art, 3 Forbidden Chalice, 3 Stormforth, 1 Sacrifice, 3 the Prime Monarch, and 1 Skill Drain. And there's no extra deck in this. You can run an extra deck if you want, but it actually messes up with some stuff in the side deck. And I actually made a pretty pure side deck this time to show you. But I'll get to that after I explain everything in here. Alright, so the main thing of this deck is you want to get out either Skill Drain or Majesty's Fiend. That's the lockdown portion of this deck. It's part lockdown, part beatdown. So you get out one of these two, and then to make sure you draw them, it's just a whole speed engine. You've got Scout, who of course lets you add any of your Qliphorts from your deck to your hand. You've got Summoner's Art, which lets you add Scout or Assembler. I'm sorry, not Assembler, Monolith. Assembler is what it used to be called. Monolith says, let's see, during your end phase, if you tribute summon this turn, draw a number of cards equal to the number of Qli monsters you tributed for tribute summons. So if you're summoning every turn, then you're deck thinning even faster, because you're drawing at least 1 card every turn, sometimes 2, 3 if you get SkyBase. SkyBase is sort of like your boss monster. He helps you deal with certain things. He takes 3 tributes, but he's unaffected by spell trap effects and by monster effects who are lower than level or rank 10. It's kind of like Towers in that case. He only has 2,900 attack, so some things can get over him. But he can't steal a monster each turn until the end phase, and you can tribute that monster if you want, or just attack with it. Usually, I've already won by the time I get this guy out. So, you only play one of him because you can search him with Scout, and you draw so much anyway, and he can kind of clog up your zones. And then as far as these 3, these are your 2 tribute monsters. Stealth, when it's tributed, you could send 1 monster back to the hand. Shell, when it's tributed, can attack twice and do piercing. So you normally want him if you want to beat down. If you really need Majesty's Fiend or Skill Drain, like if it's essential and you don't have it, then I go for Disc. When Disc is normal summoned, you can summon 2 Qliphorts from your deck, and they're destroyed during the end phase. So that'll help you deck thin, because it's just getting 2 more cards out of the way. Our final Qliphort that's in here is Helix. He's only 1 tribute. And when you tribute summon him, or not, when he is tributed for a tribute summon, you can blow up 1 spell trap on the field. So we play 3 of him. If you use Disc to get him out and then get him in the extra deck, you can do this thing where every turn you're blowing up 2, maybe even 3 spell traps by tributing him. And then of course you get to draw 1 for each. So you're just plussing all over the place. So that's pretty much it for the Qliphort stuff. For the Monarch stuff, we pretty much just run these 4 support cards. We got Pantheism just for draw power. That's going to discard any of your other Monarch spell traps to draw 2. Tenacity of the Monarchs is going to let you add any one of these to your hand by showing a monster that has 2,400 attack and 1,000 defense, or 2,800 attack and 1,000 defense. And that works for all of these guys except for Scout and SkyBase. But the rest of these have either 28,000 or 24,000, so they work perfectly with Tenacity. This is just to search out these 4 guys. These are all normal monsters, so you can get them with Summoner's Art. Forbidden Chalice, it's more effect negation. Effects are really whether it's Cosmos or Performapals or Monarchs, it's all about the effects. So we put as much effect negation as possible in here. Forbidden Chalice also has the added effect that if you negate your Qliphorts effects, then they go back up. You can normal summon them or special summon them, and they go back up to their full attack, the 2,800. So that's always good. Stormforth, not only does it have more synergy with Pantheism, but it's also just a great anti-meta sort of card in general. You've got a Monolith, Fiend, and Helix. All of these can be tributed with 1 monster. So if you get any of these or add them to your hand and then use Stormforth, you can get rid of your opponent's monsters. If you already have your scale set up, you can also special summon 1 Qliphort and then tribute their other monster to get one of these big guys out, and it can be really devastating. We play the 1 Sacrifice, because again, you can search it with Tool, It's just pretty good in general, good search card. Lets you tribute summon SkyBase with just 2 monsters. And then the Prime Monarch, of course, this is going to give you more draw power if you set it, because it lets you reset your Stormforth and your Tenacity, which I've Stormforth like 4 times in a duel, just resetting things with the Prime Monarch. And of course, if you send it to the graveyard, you can summon it out as a monster from the graveyard, and then that's just more tribute fodder for any of these guys. You're just tribute summoning all the time. And then of course the 1 skill drain that you draw and draw until you get it. Same with the Raigeki. As for the side deck, I put together an actual side deck for this for the most part. I did play a couple matches, and this is what I found. Basically, you want to run 3 Vanity's Fiend if you're running up against certain decks that don't necessarily need a bunch of monster effects, like more swarmy decks. Sometimes he's better than Majesty's Fiend to just shut down special summons. You need special summons too, so he's not the best. He might be better against in a mirror match or something like this. This doesn't really affect you all that much. All he does is stop you from using Helix's effect. But in all other regards, he's pretty much just one side advantageous for you. But this can be a good side deck card against certain things. Likewise, limiter removal, if you're going against stuff that can't be destroyed, swapping that out for Raigeki is a good idea. Laser Quip, I found this kind of useful. You can run it at 1 if you just need to keep tributing, if you need to be more aggressive, because you can search it with Scout. It's pretty nice. So Domain of the True Monarchs, this is an interesting one. It doesn't work well enough to go in the main deck, but sometimes if you just need that like super quick, if you can get like this with Majesty's Fiend, then you just shut down everything pretty much. Like they have no extra deck, they can't summon things. And this doesn't stop you from summoning things from your extra deck. It's also interesting in that like its effect activates while you have no cards in the extra deck, but it doesn't say you can't summon from the extra deck yourself. So you could summon out all your things from the extra deck and just attack for a bunch of 1800, or if you have skill drain, then you're just doing massive amount, and your opponent can't summon from the extra deck, so it's just a double whammy. Qliphort Carrier. This guy is essentially like Helix. If he's tributed, he gets an effect. You can target 1 monster on the field and return it to your hand. If you're playing against someone who's not playing like any spell traps, or hardly any spell traps, switch out your 3 Genome for 3 Carrier. He's essentially the same in every other regard. And finally, lose 1 turn. Against Pendulum decks, this is really super effective. I'd probably switch out Chalice. I was getting enough Monarchs. This is a better like Monarch tech, so I put that in for that. But lose 1 turn works really good against most Pendulum decks. Magispectors, Pendulum Magicians, Performapals, anything. So that's a really good, like, as soon as you find out you're not going against Monarchs, probably switch that out for Forbidden Chalice, unless you just want that extra beatdown potential. And then finally, the only thing I didn't talk about here is Exodia. I actually started this deck. You can't, obviously you can't put them just in here. This isn't a side deck card. This is more, originally, I took out the 3 Forbidden Chalice, the Skill Drain, and the Raigeki, and just had the pieces of Exodia, because this draws so much that you can get out Exodia, not super quickly, but quickly enough while maintaining a really solid defense. The only reason I didn't go with Qliphort Exodia was just because I was beating people down before I could get Exodia. Like, I rarely got it because I usually won beforehand. So I decided if I was drawing so much, I could put these at-1 cards in here. Normally I don't like to run them, just because I feel like if you win with an at-1 card, it's sort of like luck-based. But if you make a deck specifically designed around just drawing that card, or just drawing like these at-1 cards that just draws like mad, then it's not so much, it's not luck-based as much anymore. So that's the whole idea behind the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Next week, I'll be looking at Phantom Knights. So until then, good luck and have fun.